What is this song? That's not the song I wanted. Welcome back to the Churchfront Show, your number one source of worship and production, news, tips, advice, dad jokes, plenty of entertainment. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Jake Goslin, low voltage specialist here at Churchfront, and Matthew Wolcher, a YouTube guy.
I think I'm the Stream Deck guy.
Stream Deck guy, that's your title. And we got lots to dive into today. We are thoroughly caffeinated. I've got the 7 Brew. He's got the Dunkin'. Not sponsored. We're actually going to talk more about sponsored videos later on in this show. But as always, I want to invite you guys to go head on over to churchfront.com, where you can do a lot of fun things. You can reach out to our team if you have a project coming up. I'm actually building this new thing called the Toolkit. And hopefully by the time we publish this, I'll have the toolkit all updated for you guys. But the toolkit, we are going to put together our favorite packages and bundles of gear that you can then reach out to us and get a quote. We can obviously customize them, because the thing is, like, here I've got this Allen and Heath bundle. It's about $24,000 for like the dream setup of Allen and Heath. But that's gonna, got to be tailored, custom tailored to your setup. So it could be less, it could be more. We want to talk to you. Join Churchfront Premium today to learn more about it. So without further ado, let's dive into our first segment of the show today, the streaming Showdown follow-up. So Resi responded.
Came back spicy.
They came back.
No, they were good.
It wasn't that spicy. Come on, don't make the situation any worse. I'm really trying to get the lawyers off my back here. Just kidding. There's no lawyers involved. They're cool. Everybody's been, super great to work with through this situation. And I'm gonna pull up the video. Here's the comment that Resi left right here. So we appreciate Churchfront for providing content to support worship and church production ministry leaders. Oh, to give you guys context, again, you might be, what is he talking about? This is a video I posted a couple months ago where we kind of did a battle royale between streaming from ProPresenter over RTMP protocol, BoxCast, and Resi. And we tried to run fair test. Yes, the video was sponsored by BoxCast, but even BoxCast wanted to be a fair test. And
it was the hardest video we've ever shot.
It was a pain. I don't ever want to do a video like that again, ever. Okay? So Resi responded here. It's important that direct product comparisons are non-biased, non-sponsored, and above all, seek the truth. We talk more about that. To contribute to the online conversation, we want to inform viewers that our logs indicate these tests were conducted on outdated firmware despite newer versions being available months prior to the test. Our release notes on October 7th specifically mentioned improvements when streaming on congested networks. It is unknown at this time why the tests were conducted on old firmware, because I'm too lazy to check on firmware updates. But yeah, it's fair. It's a fair point. Like, I just don't look into firmware updates.
Because if we took the time to update every device that we have firmware every day, we wouldn't do anything else.
Continue. Yeah, but we should have. We messed up. We mess up all the time. Yep. Don't take everything we said as the final truth and word on everything, because we do mess up, okay? Additionally, it was stated that the encoders were set to a maximum of 4 megabits per second bit rate. This is inaccurate, as our logs show the Mini was configured and expected a substantially higher bit rate. So this was true as well, and I don't know how we missed this one. So
interesting.
If I look at
I thought we checked every single time.
So I've got Resi Mini encoder pulled up here in the settings. It was at, it thought it had 15.
Oh,
see that?
No, that's substantial.
And I think this is where I might have got tripped
Resi.
up. Where if we,
I think we did it the first time we were. That's the problem. So to back this up, we recorded this video 3 times, and when you're recording a video like this and you're testing these things, every single time you test the network, you have to basically stop what you're doing, congest your network, or cut the cable, whatever you're doing. Wait for that to happen, like, for these streaming encoders, which takes approximately like 1 to 3 minutes. See what happens, see if they recover from the issue, taking another 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. then you have to reset everything and start over. So we had done this 2 previous times before we even got this take, and it was, yeah, we probably missed this the 3rd time we shot it is what happened.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're right. They really raised a good point here. Honestly, I didn't even see these settings where you could actually affect the bandwidth right here before. I feel like I checked for it, and I thought it already said 5 by default, but now it's all the way up here. Who knows? So again, I'm glad that Resi pointed that out. That would significantly impact the test, which is why they bring up the point when they ran the test. There are these changes and stuff. So, that's why the comments here, I'm gonna keep it here. It's not like we don't delete comments, just so you guys know, unless if it's like straight up profanity or something like really inappropriate and disgusting. We always leave comments on the videos. So
it's okay to disagree with us.
Yes. It is. Okay, so where were we here? When creating similar test conditions on current firmware, our team saw significantly different results. Additionally, the test did not take into consideration overall video quality for live events or on-demand replays. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Resi prioritizes let's retain the video quality even if we have to delay it a long time for the replay or delivering it.
Well, because a lot of churches use it as a replay option, right? They're going to... The churches will use Resi, it goes up into the cloud, and then at another campus or at another service later, they can just quickly just replay it on a decoder for another service.
Yep.
And that wouldn't actually, like the BoxCast method that we, set up and recorded wouldn't necessarily be good for that, because it did actually glitch out the video, where Resi basically said, no, we're going to wait until we can send it and then send the full video up. And so, yeah, it depends on what you want out of the stream.
Yep. So that video, again, we could talk more about sponsored content. We disclosed at the top of the video that was sponsored. Yeah. It is what it is. I think it was still fun to learn more about these streaming protocols, the differences between HEVC codecs and H.264, and I think BoxCast prioritizes let's try to get the content to the viewer as close to real time as possible, even if it results in some distortion to the video because it's you're clamping down bandwidth or something happens. Resi's like, hey, we just want to really retain the video quality, so we will delay that stream until we make sure it is packaged properly before it gets up into the cloud. And moving forward, in the past, Churchfront has done a lot more sponsored content, not that much. Churchfront's business model, we make the majority of our revenue from our consulting and our courses and now integration. And what's cool for you guys is like, we really don't need sponsored content anymore to pay our bills. And that's going to continue, moving forward. And so I mean, you'll just expect less sponsored content. Again, I think we've created some great sponsored content on the channel because we've been able to dedicate a lot of time and attention to create videos. Even this one, which is, again, kind of a pain to film. And as a creator, I'm like, I don't, want to take the time to have to run all these tests and stuff. But if someone's paying us to do it,
re-record that video.
If someone's paying us to do it, we'll do it, right? But but it can, cause some bias or oversight on some of these things like this. And I think what would be fun, though, is as we keep growing as a company, we can continue to do tests similar to this, but they won't be sponsored.
Yeah.
Right? We'll just straight up, put things head to head and that's it. So I've been wanting to do...
we have a Canon PTZ versus PTZOptics head-to-head coming up on the channel that I just shot yesterday that is not sponsored. It's just the two cameras going up against each other.
Yep. And we like doing that now because we are a dealer for those products, and I think it's fun to be able to show you guys. We have customers and clients talking to us every day about which one should I buy, and we think they're actually both good options, but there's pros and cons to each, and we want to help you guys make better decisions. So I appreciate Resi reaching out, and again, I think the email I connected with Matt, who's their president, CEO of their company, and was super, super helpful. Again, all these, just so you guys know, behind the scenes between myself and these two companies, like, great relationship with them. Really appreciate these guys and what they're doing for the church and the products that they make. let's see here. Oh, he said competitors using HEVC prioritize delivering lower quality video when network conditions are poor. While HEVC can reduce bandwidth consumptions, most devices require transcoding from HEVC to H.264, which reduces the overall quality of the video stream. If the network conditions are poor and frames are dropped, there's no ability in competitor products to automatically recover them. So we kind of already alluded to that. Resi prioritizes the quality and no loss content so viewers never miss a moment, and customers can flawlessly use their stream video archives repeatedly in a simulated live or Resi on demand without dropped frames or visual artifacts, providing the best possible viewer experience. So, helpful stuff there.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Matt taking the time to explain that.
We were sorry, Resi.
I apologize.
We are sorry. No, we were sorry. We are sorry.
Yeah, we are sorry. I apologize. And again, it's the video's up, the comments are there, people can read them, and it is what it is. We're going to move forward as we always do. And what else we got going on? What's next on our agenda today? We got volunteer tech culture moment.
Yep.
Did I post this in? I'll pull this up and. Well, no, you've got it.
I blocked his name off.
Yeah.
It is in the Notion document. Yeah, I can just read it.
Yeah, I think this was interesting. This was in the Churchtown and Media Text. There's always some interesting posts with very interesting comments underneath them, and this will be kind of a interesting one. You can go ahead and read it.
So this is from an unknown. We're not going to name him on the podcast, but he said, well, I was just asked for my keys to what I had at our church. The reason the pastor told me to give him the keys to the sound booth was we are going a different direction. I asked, what direction are you wanting to go? He told me just a different direction, no discussion, no transition to anyone else doing it. The pastor has only been at the church for 8 months after a pastor that was there for 49 years. I've been doing sound at this church for 26 years. My sons have helped me. 119, the other 12. Many times tried to get others to help, but no one wanted to put in the time and effort. This impacts a small 150 to 200 person church. We did sound for main service, Celebrate Recovery, and just in time for Easter services. So now I have Sundays free from the stress of a live service, going off notes that change at last minute. My family is very indebted, and that's not spelled right, indebted in this local church, embedded in this local church, and now not sure what to do, just vent and keep the music flowing, and God bless you all for the many ideas that I got from you now that we are not going to be allowed to come to pass at my local church.
Yeah, it's sad, and I think this is there's a couple dynamics going on where there probably could have been better communication on both sides of this.
Yeah. I having been in ministry for a long time, I've been on both sides of that equation. I've been on the, there's a volunteer that's maybe not, it's always a tough conversation, standards in church, like what standards of excellence are we seeking? We are called to play skillfully, right? We're not called to just get up there and bang away on an acoustic guitar that's out of tune. So there's an element of like when we serve, we want to give God our best, our excellence. And so I've been on the side where like a volunteer maybe wasn't living up to that standard that we as a church had decided this was the standard of excellence that we needed to pursue. And I've also been on the side where I've had friends who weren't living up to that standard of excellence, even people very, very close to me that got cut from a worship team. So it's always tough. You don't know exactly what the reasons were from the pastoral side here. We're just getting one side of the story. So I do see that. But also if you're a pastor and you want to phase out a volunteer, I think you owe your volunteers time, right? This seems like it happened right away. Again, we only see one side.
Yep.
But if the first conversation you have with a volunteer about them not meeting your standard is, hey, give me your keys, you're not allowed to do this anymore, that's poor leadership.
Yeah, and like you said, we only see one perspective
Yes.
of the situation, because sometimes, again, I've seen the unhealthy things that were, the time on the team that they dedicated, it's good, but sometimes you can really get some maybe bad habits get entrenched in that role, in the ministry, and it's not right for moving the church forward into this new season. right?
And there's an element of old dogs and new tricks too. Like if someone has been doing it for that long, maybe it's going to be really, really hard for that person to ever step forward into maybe a new way of doing things. I've seen that.
Yeah. So for the person in this position who posted it, I would, and anybody else who might be in a similar position, I would say always make sure you have open channels of communication with leadership so you understand them, where it's going, especially if you have new leaders coming in and they're kind of taking things in a different direction. Don't expect things are just going to happen the way they have for the past 20, 30 years. Like they're probably not. So have the humility, even though you've been around longer, probably since that some of these pastors have been born, right? You've been along at the church that long. You need to respect that they're in that position. They have a vision, and it is a little bit of submission to hearing them out and giving them a fair shot, because maybe that never happened. Maybe also there was some, maybe there was conversations that were had with this person before and just nothing changed, right?
Yeah.
And sadly, it came to hey, give me your keys. And then from the pastor side of things, I would say have at least, a time. If you're coming into a situation where someone's been serving in a ministry for that long, make time to grab lunch with them. Mm-hmm. Maybe it might take a couple times to shepherd them through your vision, where the church is going. And I think, a reasonable amount of time should be maybe a meeting or two. And then if they're on board and excited, great. You'll be able to keep kind of leading them through that change. But if they're just pushing back even after repeated conversations, then it's okay, I think, to be hey, we got to move a different direction. And, it's awkward to have to ask for keys back.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Sometimes you got to do hard things in leadership.
Yep. So. Yeah. Having been in, church leadership for so many years, it's difficult because there are certain positions, especially I was going to say, anybody can be a greeter. No, there are some people that shouldn't be greeters either. But especially in worship and tech, it's so much of a talent. There's a talent level. Now you can develop those talents. You can work on your voice. You can practice your instrument. You can develop yourself as a mix engineer. But there are some people that are tone deaf, and I don't mean that in a comical way. They literally can't hear what sounds good, and it's going to be really tough for that person to ever become a good sound person or a good singer. And so there is an element of, like you said, humility from the volunteer perspective to say, maybe this isn't the right role for me, but then relational from the pastoral perspective. If you build good relationships with your people, hopefully it never comes to this type of a post. Some people are going to get hurt. If you have to tell someone no, it's going to hurt no matter what you do. But if you can do it through, that element of respect and love and relationship, I think it's going to turn out way better. So.
What do you guys think of our latest iteration of our podcast studio? We're making progress. So remember last time I talked about getting the Shure SM7 DB microphone?
Yes.
This isn't that.
Yeah, you ordered the wrong one. Our gain is set at...
my PO had the right model listed to my Sweetwater rep. I wanted the DB version, and then he sent me these ones.
The gain on these microphones is set to plus 48.
Yep. But it actually still sounds good.
Yeah,
it's not like there's that much noise. But I do not have enough time to return these and get the right one. So we'll get some cloud lifters or something like that for it, and we'll be good to go. But we got the SM7Bs working great. The Yamaha DM3 working great. We've got our CRM 300 right now for video.
Yep.
We have a 500 that's on the way. They've been back ordered.
I think if you told people that this image is a PTZ camera, not even an expensive PTZ camera. Well, depends on what your definition of expensive is, but you can spend $7,000 on a Canon PTZ camera, and this is a third of that or less than a third of that. So, or no,
lots of light. You need lots of light though.
Light.
We really got this guy going pretty bright here right now.
Turn the sun on.
I'm excited for the 500 to be. That'll be our main shot here soon, and then we can use that PTZ to move around.
Yep.
And we're just using NDI. Everything's NDI video going into Ecamm there. And then I'm actually sending my screen over NDI to you.
So when I click on this, by the way, I'm using a Stream Deck. This is the Stream Deck Plus.
Stream Deck.
And I can actually turn up and down our audio inputs here.
Yep.
and I can turn up and down my monitoring outputs with this. And then I've got basically 3 shots that I can quickly switch between. Full screen, us in the corner, and then just his screen share coming from Chrome.
Yep. And it's cool because when we're in studio, when we're setting up to do things, well, we're actually recording a lot of our studio videos now in Ecamm because Ecamm even has PTZ control. So like you don't have to do anything. Literally just plug the Canon in and you can you just do it right now? Show them? Like, so Matt from Ecamm can actually like move, pan, tilt, zoom in and out.
I don't want to go too far because it was really framed well.
Yeah, that's true. It was good. Zoom in. And then I actually think, I don't know, Ecamm now, in my opinion, is a little bit underrated as a live stream solution for churches. You know what kind of holds it back? It's not even its fault, but it's another application's fault, an application that we sometimes can't stand. ProPresenter.
Wait, why does ProPresenter hold it back?
Because ProPresenter doesn't have an NDI HX output. Which can really choke up your bandwidth on trying to do NDI.
Interesting.
So it can work, I think, especially if you have a decent network. But I'm like, guys, can you please? Maybe they did it so far. I don't know. This might be fake news because you guys know me. I don't know how to check for firmware updates. But last time I checked, because I was like, man, if you just had if you had a NDI set up in a computer just running Ecamm, that's all it did, you could have a pretty powerful system. You know, sending ProPresenter and lower thirds lyrics.
I currently still send lower thirds over NDI, and it's well, no, I take that back. I was up until like a month ago because I had some issues with my audio, so I switched to an old television studio that we had here.
Yep.
But I was sending NDI lower thirds from ProPresenter. So I mean, it still is, and I do not have a good network at my church. That's something that we're hoping to upgrade in this next year. But it works. So theoretically, you could absolutely do that. Grab lower thirds from ProPresenter and cameras from Ecamm, and Ecamm Live is a very powerful software. Now it's a subscription.
Yeah,
so
it's great. Those
you're
guys
gonna pay monthly for it, but it is a great app.
Yep. We got this table from Uline, the chairs from Uline. Uline's my favorite store. That's where
Parker's
we buy
too.
All. Yeah, Matt's son Parker has been setting up all the furniture. That's my favorite thing.
He's gonna be an
There's
expert.
there's a couple more boxes right now where I'm like, you know, when he's off of his other shift from his other job, he can come set it up. But I love having a pallet of Uline furniture show up to our door, and I'm like, I don't have to build that. Someone else.
Thanks,
like,
Parker.
Yes, good job, Parker. But I like this cafe table. You know, it's
nice.
What did we say, 36 wide
Yeah, I think so.
by 72 long.
Yeah,
I think it's a great podcast desk.
Yeah, it's full 72 long.
And we've got Primeacoustic wall panels, sponsored by Primeacoustic.
Again,
we said no sponsors, but we'll be sponsored by Primeacoustic on every video. No, but we love their products. This is
great.
This is the light mode room, right? Last time we were in the dark mode room with the darker oak.
Tell us which one you like better.
Well, it's going to be this one for the show because we're not moving this table back and forth.
Agreed.
We're still going to use both rooms, but and then we got the new warehouse. We'll have to do a warehouse tour eventually here, maybe when some of the things get more into assembly. So
I'm hearing that through my headphone.
it's just my wife, Kaylee. Stop. She's the only one I have on do not disturb mode, but she like texts me these random questions when we're filming, and I'm like,
Here, hold on.
She's asking me, oh yeah, just turn my computer off. Yeah, no, she was asking me because she's bringing someone's getting some stuff from Colorado. Do I want my electric guitar or bass?
From Colorado?
Yes, I do, but don't spend time looking for it. Actually, Chris is looking. Chris is there. Actually, I'll just tell her, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. In the middle of filming a show right now. Thanks. Okay.
Did we bring up, that you're moving all your stuff here? That this is.
Yeah, I mean, church. Yeah. I think we did.
Yeah.
Maybe last time. Churchfront's kind of it's growing a lot. We are hiring. I don't really know what's hard is we're growing so fast, and I don't know which hire always needs to come next. But we're taking applications right now. So if you do go to our website, go to the resources page, go to the job boards page. I'll have it pulled up right here. And then go to solutions specialist. this is the specific role we're hiring right now. I might have this hired actually before you apply, but you can still apply. There's this apply form at the bottom. If you want to work on the dream team up here at Churchfront, this is a great way to at least get your name in the hat, and we can connect and go from there.
And I don't want to like go through that many resumes, but we should like let people submit like video resumes for all the time, no matter what. You just click
I should just put a form.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna add that to the field of the form. Like,
way,
hey,
if you
give us
think
a video,
you would be amazing.
Yep,
let us know.
Mm-hmm. There are better resumes than others, that's for sure. Like just like the formatting of them and stuff like that. So it says a lot. You know, I used to not really care about that stuff, but now that I'm hiring people all the time, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm looking at like dozens of resumes.
At least make a good resume.
Yep.
Then maybe you shouldn't get the job.
Because we're hiring like this solution specialist role to help out with some sales and some like back office operations and admin work. But we're going to need more technicians. We have lots of big projects landing, and we only have so many guys to do them. So if you're an experienced AVL technician and you want to work on our crew, definitely reach out, throw in your application there. Just let us know when you fill out the form what you want to do or what you're interested in. Let's see here. Next up, DIY front of house console build. This was interesting, and It was
very interesting.
Did you watch the video? I didn't actually watch the whole video.
I scanned through it. He basically took an Avantis completely apart.
Wow. So
he voided the warranty.
Oh, so look, he's got ProPresenter,
yes,
a touchscreen computer. So how did he do it?
Did
he have to install like a?
Yeah, so he's got computers underneath. Like if you scroll through it a little bit further, you're gonna see. I'm just gonna go.
Oh, right there
on that.
Yeah.
So he basically has rack-mounted computers underneath it, and he's hardwired into. Yeah, here you go. It's insane.
Whoa. If you guys, if you're just listening, someone took an Avantis, they like took it apart. This is on YouTube, and they put like their own computer in it.
Yep.
To then use the monitors on the Avantis as like the computer monitors. So you have this like one workstation to run not only your Avantis, but you also can do. He had ProPresenter on it. He had Ecamm software control and a multi-view on it. I mean, I should probably take the 21
lighting
minutes
control
to actually watch this. Oh, lighting too.
Yeah, he's got lighting on it.
Oh, look at all the deck links under there. An Ecamm there.
It's crazy.
That's cool. We should do stuff like this now. Like, I
mean, we got time for that.
He's like throwing video around on his content, because is that like Resolume or something? It looks like it must be some sort of content server app.
Again, I didn't watch the whole thing. I scanned through it because I was like, this is really cool, but insane. I know I would never ever do it. So because that's a $10,000 console plus that you just completely voided a warranty on.
Yeah.
So don't do this until you've had your Avantis for at least 2 years and the warranty is no longer good.
Makes a great YouTube video though.
It does make a great YouTube video. He's got, how many views you got already?
40,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. So go check that out. It's called No Other Console Does This. 4-in-1 Powerhouse PEX-C.
I mean, it would be, I wonder how much he's like, is he selling these? I feel like you got to sell it for 25, 30 grand to make up your time on building the thing.
No, I think he's got all the affiliate links though.
Oh, yeah.
So
go. You got to build it yourself.
That's how he'll make the money back.
So if you have the capacity to build this yourself, go ahead and apply at churchfront.com to join our team.
Yep. I wanted to spotlight a cool LED system install that we've got here. Eros. I always call him Ezra. I should not
call
him. Yeah. Let me just zoom in for you. So yeah, this is a really cool. I just like the architecture of this church, like the brick. Those line arrays are beasts. We didn't put those.
What are those?
Somebody else. They're Nexo.
Oh
Yamaha Nexo.
I've heard some great Nexo speakers over the years.
That's my favorite part.
Sick.
The sliding door to reveal the screen.
That's sick. Is it motorized sliding door?
I don't think so. No, they were just moving it.
They should motorize.
Oh, look at the trim they put around the screens. Do you see that?
Go back.
Man, Instagram videos are useless trying to play back. So like there's trim they kind of the edges
They
of
wood
the
trimmed them,
panels. It looks like
basically?
they put some wood trim around it. Let's wait till we get. Sorry, I can't control. We'll just have to watch the whole video
Instagram
again.
for this.
Yeah, it's like why can't I do this on desktop? Why can't I play back? and
So
have
did
the
you
play?
hear that system though? Those Nexos?
No, I never been here.
Oh.
This is church. So in Nebraska.
Hmm.
So they got two 6.5 by 11.5 foot screens.
Is that
These are
trimmed?
what I want at Rock Harbor.
Is
Those
that
side
trimmed out?
screens.
Or is it there another shot that's closer up?
Maybe not. You know what? Maybe
might
it's
just be
not
the
trimmed out.
side.
Maybe the cloud panels are actually that thin and look so good. It looked like
Yeah.
it was trimmed out, but it's not. So, yeah, good job, Eros and the Altitude team for getting that put together. Go to altitude.com or altitudeled.com/quote. Just Google us, find us. It's it is sponsored also actually because we're basically part owner in the company. So
Yeah.
we're going to be heavily biased that you should get Altitude LED screens for your church. Okay.
Is it sponsored though? It's us. If
That's
we're
true.
part owners, I don't know.
This is cool. The
boy.
UA Apollo
Yeah.
headphone amp. So this is actually
The
what we
whole
might
system.
want here in our studio, right?
Well, except we figured out a no-cost method of monitoring.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this, and then we'll talk about
Yeah.
our cheap way of doing it because we didn't want to buy
This
these.
would be the right way to do it. Is this UA system?
Well, wait a second though. This got the $400 for the little interfaces, the
Yeah.
Apollo E1X
Basically,
preamp.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because
And-
we
and
could
they
use
bolt
actually.
together.
Why can't we use that for these mics?
Yeah. You would plug these into that. Get your
Because that would be cool to be like,
data
okay,
out.
get like a shorter XLR cable, and then at the bottom of this, we could just mount one of those preamps to the stand, and
but
then
you
you just
still have a cable coming off of it, so it doesn't really. We still have like instead of mic
yeah.
cables,
But
you'd have.
would this preamp take the place of a cloud lifter?
I mean,
Would it help or no? It's
the
the same
same
as a
way,
preamp on the
yeah,
back there. Yeah, it still needs like a preamp.
yeah. I mean, but yes and no. I mean, the Yamaha DM3, the fact that you can get this much gain out of it and it's still a clean signal.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. We haven't tested these. I mean, it's universal audio. This
So
stuff's
it's
usually
two
great.
products. The E1X is a little preamp you can use that
Yeah.
puts a device on the Dante network. And then you have the EM2 stereo headphone amp and line interface.
Yeah.
That's really cool because then you could have your headphone amp and then you could plug it into monitors.
Mm-hmm.
This is similar. I think the Scarlett Red Nets make that, right?
Yep.
And then a Thunderbolt audio interface with Dante, the X16D. I bet that one's it's pricey. It's about $3,000, $4,000. Very impressive.
Yeah, they're very
UAD.
cool. I mean, we talked about it on the in Slack that you could technically put together an entire kind of audio solution with this. I think at the end of the day, you're going to end up being way above a SQ series console with a Dante card in it.
Yeah.
But you could theoretically throw these little preamps all over your stage and run data to them and basically you just use Dante and their interfaces as your mixer.
Well, would this be way better though if you want to start if you get the interface, if you want to start implementing the universal audio plugins in real time for even a live mix?
Yeah, I suppose. I haven't used universal audio plugins live.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all low latency and such.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's cool.
yeah, it's cool stuff.
Impressive.
But we didn't want to spend that much money, so we basically what we're doing to monitor audio. I've got it in my right ear. Jake's got his in his right ear as well. But basically, what we're doing is we're taking Dante out of our DM3, and that's what's getting recorded to Ecamm Live. But then also we're taking that Dante feed using a program called Loopback on our computers to just run our Dante input straight to our headphone output is what we're doing. I'm actually going to the Thunderbolt dock here, headphone output, but Jake's just plugged straight into his computer. So you can monitor a Dante source just with Loopback just straight on your computer, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, and there's no latency.
There's no latency. Yeah.
Well, whatever the tiny milliseconds
Yeah.
of latency, but it sounds great. Like having the in-ears, I can monitor my mic. Again, such a Loopback's $99.
Yep.
And you basically can turn if you're doing a podcast like this, my computer is my headphone amp.
It's a very powerful tool because for anything where you need to get audio, you need to take audio from one application and move it to another. That can become really complicated using things like aggregate devices on a Mac and stuff. Being able to just grab that input, send it here. Just talking to a client the other day who's mixing in Logic and trying to get both his outputs his output from Logic to go to two different places. Using Loopback, you wouldn't even need to do anything in Logic. You just take the output from Logic and just send it to two different outputs to send audio to two different devices. So,
Church VR live stream experience. It's kind of weird.
It's a little weird.
This is older. This is back in the COVID days.
Yeah,
when did you find this?
I don't think I did. This was someone else on the team. Or no,
okay.
I did find this. That's right. I was doing some digging for what would be good stuff to show. But yeah, the VR experience for churches. What do you think? I don't love it.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I don't think it's gonna catch on because I don't know. Maybe. Well, look at the Apple Vision. It's the biggest flop in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's like I haven't heard anything about it in months. Right?
Yeah.
It's just like that. I don't think people want to stick VR goggles on their head, and I do think for the most part, it's 2025, and I'm quite happy with using phone devices, a TV to consume content, engage with content. I don't know.
I think because being a basketball fan, I always thought that would be a really cool application of this technology of being able to have a courtside seat basically to a Lakers game.
Yeah.
But here's the reality of that is that those actually aren't great seats.
No.
Because you can't see everything.
Yep.
And so just because I can look around and the reality is TV shows, even church services, they're produced from certain angles because that's the best viewing experience.
Yep.
Having to sit there on the front row and just look around without actually being there and feeling the energy of the room isn't actually a great experience. But I did find this interesting. It's twofold for me because as much as I wouldn't want the VR experience, I also don't think this church meshes with me at all.
Yeah.
No offense to the church. Different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
Good on you. Just I probably wouldn't go to this church.
That's a beast of an array up there.
Yeah.
Jeez. Because it's pretty. Maybe they have the back of the room blocked off. Can't really tell. Oh, get me out of here though. I don't want to think about COVID days. Ugh. All right. What's the firmware update? Okay, speaking of firmware updates, now we're just going to start. Now the Churchfront show, we're just going to read through an entire firmware update. SQ Mixer firmware version 1.6.0 release notes, February 2025.
Well, this one specifically, we have a lot of clients. We sell a lot of SQ series mixers. So I thought it would be good just for those of you out there that have not updated yet. You get some cool things with these firmware updates, with this one specifically. Could jump over to my notes here, but you get the big thing was now you can split your matrix mixes. So instead of 3 stereo matrices, you can have 6 mono matrices.
Oh, that's cool.
You can, what's the other thing? Oh, you can now record out of both USBs at the same time.
Oh, you weren't able to do that?
You were never able to do that. So that's a pretty big one. And then you get a lot of control in the apps that you didn't used to have. You have more ability to do stuff on the app. So, we don't need to go through everything that's on here, but I did think it was a good thing to point out to anyone that is on an SQ mixer because it is this is a really good update to get if you're using one of those.
Yep. Cool. We love firmware updates around here.
And you can finally update the firmware using a Mac computer.
Yep.
I don't know if you knew this. You couldn't do that on the previous version. If you took the thumb drive, plugged it into your Mac, downloaded the firmware on the previous version, and then took that thumb drive and went to an SQ and tried to update your SQ, it would not work.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, because something with the Mac would reformat the file just a little bit. We found this out at a church.
I'm sure we spent 6 hours or something trying to troubleshoot something like that.
Yes,
correct. I'm going to send the invoice to Alan and Heath for that one. Okay, the next segment, kind of getting to our final segment here, Easter Tech hot takes. These are your hot takes.
Well, these are things I I put in there, but I don't know. There's so a philosophy that I've always heard, and I took this to heart, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But I remember because we see in Easter, we see with Christmas, we always see like these churches that just go a little insane.
Yeah.
Like the Flying Drummer Boys from a Christmas or two ago. I don't know if you remember seeing those.
Yeah.
But I remember a story.
That was
of a
last
guy.
Christmas. That was actually, I think, just this past Christmas.
Was it? Yeah. So I remember a story. A pastor told me the story, but a guy comes to the church during Christmas time, and he sees the Christmas show, and they have real donkeys and camels and flying angels and all this stuff. And halfway through the night, the camel poops on the stage. And it's hilarious. Everyone laughs. So the guy enjoys it, goes home, comes back to church the next Sunday, and it's a normal church service. And he's looking around like, I don't understand. He goes up to the pastor afterwards. He's like, it's a nice service and all, but where's the pooping camel? The story didn't actually use the word pooping, but
yeah.
Where's the pooping camel? And so I've always taken that like, if you're, not that you shouldn't strive for excellence and the best of who you are on an Easter Sunday, but don't be one of those churches that completely changes your DNA for the people that are going to come to your church twice a year.
Yeah.
Because even if they do come back, you don't want them to come back and be shocked by the difference between what you did for Easter and what you do the next weekend.
Yep. Easter's not the time to try new tech, right? Everybody, man, especially now, we feel that because like we're getting so many orders and people are like, oh, it's going to be here in time for Easter. I'm like, why are you placing this order 3 weeks before Easter? Like, you guys, I'm going to start preaching to y'all, like scolding y'all, like start planning ahead further. Like, don't be coming to us in 2 weeks before Easter trying to redo your whole camera or audio system or something. Like, grow up and plan ahead, right? It's just like you gotta be wise and like don't try to execute or bite off more than you can chew in a limited time frame, because it's just not going to end well. Sure, maybe some of you can pull it off, but
we feel this so much more than the average person, even because to get the example of me yesterday, I filmed a video at Rock Harbor, and I'm trying to get 3 different technologies to all function while I'm trying to record a video about those technologies, and I can't get them to function. The same thing is going to be true for any church service. You throw new technology into a church service and you're trying to make it all function the day up, you're just going to be stressed out. You're going to be anxious. It's just not going to be
That's when I think tech becomes an idol and an issue on Easter. If you are having to expend all of your creative brain power to put together a tech system that you didn't take the time to, you didn't pay the price and sacrifice to learn it and test it and use it, and then your whole week is just consumed with stress, like it's an idol, and you quite frankly deserve that stress because like you just did not take the time to be responsible in planning and executing that project well. So again, I'm just like, no more Mr. Nice Guy over here. I just don't have any empathy for that situation. And explain to your leadership, like, guys, if we're gonna have a great Easter, you should be talking to your leadership in like October the prior year of like, hey, I've got some ideas for Easter. In order for me to execute them, we really need to probably approve them by January at the latest, so then I can start rolling them out in February, and then we have like a good 60 to 90 days to test them, because on Easter, I want to focus on leading the worship and celebrating the resurrected Lord. I don't want to be stressing out. Yeah, and being present, not stressing out about, are these AVL systems gonna work right?
Yeah.
And it's especially important for a small mid-sized church when you're the worship leader at wearing all the hats, you don't have a dedicated tech team or the luxury of that. Like, it's stressful and it's gonna burn you out. It's not gonna be fun. If it's not fun, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. I've spent so many years in ministry, and I honestly don't know that I got that until really the end, to be honest. I spent 20 years doing this where I was on Sunday morning, I was stressed out over what was going to happen and what was going on. And I still can deal with that. I'm leading worship, volunteering at my church this Sunday. And if I'm not careful, I can get distracted. Especially if the tech guys start walking around in the back, I know there's something going on that's wrong. But once, like, prepare with everything that you've got, don't throw new stuff in. But then once you start leading worship, once you start running sound, be present like that. Your job at that moment is to minister. Even if you're on sound, even if you're on video, your job is to minister, not worry about tech. And if you're worrying about tech, you're doing it wrong.
Yep. This has been one of the most exciting seasons for Churchfront lately. We're growing, we're evolving for the better, like I mentioned earlier. Because of the integration services we've been offering over the past year, it is opening up a lot of opportunity. I've learned more in the past year than I learned in the prior 5 years. It's crazy. We did recently clarify our service offerings. We have Churchfront Premium and Churchfront Pro. Churchfront Premium is the best place to start if you need training, some personalized advice through some group coaching, and you need advice on that next AVL project that you're looking at. Whether maybe you just need to buy a few microphones, you want to make sure you're buying the right ones. Maybe you're buying a whole video system. Maybe you're replacing your mixing console. Any of that. Get in Churchfront Premium. You're going to be able to get on a call with Spencer, our lead design engineer, to look at your situation, really spec the right gear, and then we'll create a quote, and then you can purchase it, and we can provide different installation options for you. So highly recommend looking into that.
You also get all our courses. So as you're buying these new gear, like you said, you have to know what to do with that gear. And if you don't, if you're new to tech and you're trying to figure stuff out, there's a lot of courses in our catalog that'll help you through a lot of those concepts of how to mix properly, how to use lighting properly, all that stuff.
Yep. Then there's Churchfront Pro. This used to be the Churchfront Accelerator, but now we're calling it Churchfront Pro. This is our flagship consulting, design, and AVL integration service. So you can learn more about it at churchfront.com/pro. But this is where we really get in the trenches of your church ministry. We will fly out to your church and do a site survey, an assessment. We'll really get to know your church and your goals. We'll do a Matterport scan like you see right here of a church we're working with, and this is in Pennsylvania. I did this scan. I'm pretty proud of it. It took me 2 hours and a lot of scans. But
that looks like a big building.
I actually got the whole building. It's like sometimes we do just the worship center, but it's cool sometimes too, especially if we're doing distributed audio and video to know the whole building. Then it goes into design. This is a design, another project we're working on. Spencer's crushing it in Vectorworks as our design engineer. Then we do assembly and install. Then we do commissioning, training, and support. So just go here. You can learn more. You can reach out to our team. This is if your church is doing a major AVL project where you need to redo a system. Maybe you're doing a building project or an expansion or renovation. This is a place to start and to reach out to us. So without further ado, that is the end of the Churchfront show today. I hope you guys had a great time listening in. I want to invite you to, again, go to churchfront.com. Check out the toolkit that I'm revamping and revising. Let's also link down below for those bundles of gear recommendations that we have. And of course, if you want to talk to us about gear, speccing it out, join Churchfront Premium. Hit like, subscribe. We will see you next time.